Hi everyone, it's Tanya here, otherwise known as Tartan Taz. What this video is about is experimenting with my markers on a variety of different papers that I have. Now this particular paper is the wrong side of marker paper. I have a special paper that is specifically designed to use with markers, and I discovered recently that there is a wrong and a right side, so I thought I'd demonstrate the difference. Now, as you can see, I have gone in with a slightly darker tone of marker around the edge, and then taken the lighter colour and gone over the darker, blending it into the lighter colour. I don't know if it is particularly clear or not on this video, so I zoomed in a little bit in order for you to be able to see. What seems to be happening is that the ink is staying pretty much on the surface, and so it really isn't blending as well as it could be. So it's not really the best side to be drawing on, and that's one way of telling the difference. I know that when I first started using the marker paper, I had taken some out, put in a journal, and then realised that there was a right and a wrong side, and it was very difficult to tell which side was which until I actually started to use my markers on it. Now, the markers I've just used are Whispers. They're a good couple of years old now. Don't even know if you can still buy them in the shops. And they are water soluble. And so I've gone in with my water brush, and I love the fact that they're blending in together. So even though it's the wrong side of the marker paper, with regards to water soluble, it seems to allow it to work how it should be working, and I'm actually really liking this girl's hair. Now going in with an aqua marker, which again is water soluble, and it works very well. So just put in a few finishing touches, really trying to hide a mistake that I made. I'm just showing you the back there in order to show you that it doesn't come through when you are drawing on the wrong side. So if you turn the paper over and it hasn't come through, then you know you're drawing on the wrong side. We've now moved on to, this is just ordinary cardstock. I thought that as this girl looked quite whimsical, I would use my lilacs. So I'm using the darker lilac around the edge, and this was meant to be a lighter lilac. It looks lighter on the cover, however it turns out that it's probably around about the same, if not slightly darker. So I've then got definitely my lighter shade of lilac, and I'm going over everything, including the darker side, the darker shade. And what that does is it dilutes the darker, so if it's too dark, hopefully with a bit of luck, fingers crossed, it will lighten it. Again, I've kept the camera zoomed in a little bit to try and show the actual effects that the markers have on the different papers. As I said, this is card, it's just ordinary cardstock, and you can see, although it does seem to be starting to blend, it's got a mottled effect. I know I can see it when I'm using it, and I'm sitting up quite close, and I know that it's mottled, so I'm seeing it on the screen, and I'm not sure if you do. This is now me going in with the water soluble, and I can tell you it doesn't really work. only some of the colour really comes out. I think because it's card, the ink just sinks into the card. It doesn't move at all. I'm certainly going in with the water soluble markers on the hair. I'm particularly liking this colour, and was hoping that it would work, but as you will shortly see, the water really doesn't move the ink at all, and so it really is a bit of an epic fail, really. But you know, that's what this video is all about. It's about seeing just exactly how the different markers, whether it be the alcohol markers or whether it be the water soluble. Well, you can just about work with the alcohol the alcohol markers, but the water soluble, it just doesn't do it. So moving on to the next paper, which is just ordinary printer paper. I've actually folded it and then folded it again. This was an experiment to see just how many layers of paper the alcohol markers actually go through, and I've used what I thought was the darker, then I put what I thought was the slightly lighter. Again, it looked slightly lighter on the edging of the paper that tells you that shows you the colours, and it turns out that actually it was slightly darker. So I abandoned that pen and got out a pen that I knew was definitely lighter. Again, I've gone over the dark colour, the darker shade, to dilute it, and I'm sure you can all agree at this point, you can definitely see where the darker colour is and where the lighter colour is. I've gone in with a sort of a lilac-y colour there to try and give it a bit of a pink. Now I've opened up just to show you just how far it's actually gone through, and it's not only gone through the back of the part of the paper that I'm drawing on, but it's also seeped through onto the first layer of the paper underneath, but it didn't go on through to the third. So if you are going to use this kind of paper, it's always best to think about what you're using it for, and it really doesn't particularly like the water either. And unfortunately, I didn't realise that my camera had stopped, so I have done a little bit off camera, and as you can see, the water is just not working. So now we're moving on to the, hopefully leaving the best till last. This is now the marker paper, but on the correct side. So I've gone in with a slightly darker shade at the edges and where it's going to be darker on the girl's face. I've played it a little bit safer this time. This is actually my second attempt at doing this particular paper, because the first one I got the marker pens totally wrong and it just didn't look right at all. You could really see the difference in colour, and that was because of my error rather than the paper. Still looked smooth, but you could see so clearly the change in the shades. So I took it a little bit easier with this one, and I think the lesson really from that is to really get to know your marker pens, just what shade are they when they go onto the paper, and that way you'll make better choices when you actually come to colouring in. At the moment you can still see where the lines are. I've gone in now again with a kind of lilac-y pinky colour, just to give some colour to the cheeks, and in order to blend it in, I've gone back to the lighter shade, I think it was linen I was using, in order to hopefully even out the colour. In just a moment I'm going to turn the paper over and you will see that it has come through. So although I'm now using the watercolour, I would like to take this opportunity to just point out that even in this short space of time, I'm hoping that you can see that the lines are actually starting to fade, and you can see that the alcohol markers are indeed starting to blend together. So now I'm going to go in with the water brush and even out the hair. So you can see that the watercolour marker pens are indeed working very well. Now to put in the final touches of the lips, and because the watercolour pens work on this paper, it has been an absolute joy to create this girl. Printer paper didn't like the water, mottled effect. Card, mottled effect, didn't like the water. Alcohol paper on the wrong side, didn't like the alcohol markers, okay with the water. Marker paper on the right side, definitely the best paper to work with. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.